Good morning, Keller Williams, Colorado. Thanks for being here for the June 2024 regional rally. Kelly, can you hear me? Awesome. Hey, thanks to Kelly and Jenny and Leslie for putting this monthly regional rally together and always providing us a ton of value. Today's agenda is simple. We're going to do some quick announcements, tell you about a few upcoming events. Then we're going to celebrate our top performers in individuals, teams, and groups for May, and a couple Market Center top performers. Cato Mitchell will do a market update. And then we have Elle from Brand Builders, who's going to be talking about the importance of understanding your personal brand. So let's get right in with some announcements. Next month at Smedra, Wendy Papazan will be teaching the Leverage series. Wendy's story is a great story. Her husband co-wrote The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and she was raising her two kids. And one day she looked around and realized she didn't have as much to do. She pulled that book out and she decided to build a team. And she focused on the organizational model and built out that team. She has a MREA team, a top GK top mastermind team, and she's going to be talking about the secret to leverage. You should not miss this opportunity to meet with Wendy. Last year, our highest rated event was when Wendy was in town to teach QL. So don't miss the Leverage series. It's $299. You can use the QR code or go to kwcoloradoevents.com to sign up. We've also got John Maxwell coming to the Height, September 25th through 27th. This event will be a luxury summit first, followed by the Rocky Mountain Summit, ending on Friday at noon. We'll finish up the keynote address with John Maxwell. You can sign up for a regular ticket, and we still have a couple VIP tickets left if you want breakfast with John. And looking out further, Business Planning Clinic is coming in October with Gene Rivers. ALC Clinic at the Ritz in Denver in November. Can't wait to see you all there. All of our events can be registered for at kwcoloradoevents.com. You can also click the box to be notified as we add things to the calendar. Leslie, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm really excited because these next two classes are going to bring a ton of value to you. This week, I'm going to really focus on how you can use the referral patterns inside Command to create a really powerful relocation campaign and set you up for success to make you look like the relocation expert in your area. And then the following week, I'm going to be holding a class on how to really do a deep dive and learn KW Command at a high level, KW Command Mobile rather, at a high level. So don't miss those two classes. I'll see you then.
All right. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Speaking of Leslie's classes and our regional rallies and other video content, we put everything on our YouTube channel at KW Colorado Region 7. You can subscribe to that channel and get notifications for everything. Okay, moving to top performers. We're going to start with top individuals for May 2024. In fifth place in closed units, David Williams from Denver downtown. Tied for fourth place with 7 units, the Golesh team, which is really an individual, and Jackie Stratton, both from Tech Center. In the top 3, the Beresford Group, downtown Colorado Springs. Devin Everson from Grand Junction at number 2, and Faith Young, number 1, closed units, 10 units. Awesome job, everyone. Moving to volume. Number 10 was Daniela Demeliak from Vail. Number 9, David Williams from Denver downtown. Ryan Davis was number 8 from Park Meadows, and Carrie Lambert from Denver West, number 7. Number 6, the Beresford Group from downtown Colorado Springs. Jackie Stratton, number 5. The Golesh team, number 4. And our top 3 closed volume individuals were Sheila Bailey from Denver West, Corey Martin from DTC, and Will Rostron from Vail. Great job, GCI. Diana Goldsmith at Denver Highlands was number 10, and Samantha Gallant from Durango, number 9. Jackie from DTC, number 8. Sheila with $111,415, Denver West, number 7. Number 6 was David Williams from Denver downtown. Carrie Lambert was number 5, and Daniela was number 4. The top 3 for GCI individuals: were Edite Lapina Lawrence from Longmont, the Golesh team, number 2, and Corey Martin, number 1. And I think we got a typo in that dollar amount, Kelly, but we'll get it right when we post on Facebook. Top teams. This is 2 licensed individuals. Closed units, number 5 was a 3-way tie between the Bedwell Group, Seed Property Group, and Rage Real Estate. Number 4, the Vincent Group and the Apex Group from Pueblo were tied with 7 units each. And the top 3 were the Phillips team with 9 units, the Artisan Group with 10 units, and High Cap Homes with 13 units. Congratulations, teams, on your closed units. Volume, the collective did 3.1 million in volume. Seed Property Group 3.1 as well. The Blonder team 3.2. The Dolph team 3.2. Number 6, the Vincent Group from Castle Rock at 3.4. Malarcy Home Network at Highlands 3.6. AN Homes from Denver North Jeffco 4 million. The top 3 were the Artisan Group from downtown Colorado Springs, High Cap Homes from Denver downtown, and with a whopping 10 million in the foothills, the Phillips team. Great job all. Moving on to GCI top 10 teams. The Morocco team from Denver North was in 10th place. The Dolph team in Foothills was in 9th. James Dean Mountain Homes team, number 8. The Blonder team, number 7. Rage Real Estate from Denver Highlands, number 6. The Vincent Group, number 5. The Collective, number 4. And our top 3 GCI teams are AN Homes in number 3 place, High Cap Homes in the number 2 spot, and the Phillips team with $273,061, number 1. Moving on to groups. Groups are more than 2 licensed people. The Strange team took the 10th spot. Luchik Group, number 9. Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group, number 8. The Dixon Group, number 7. Number 6 was Tony Greer and Associates in Pueblo. High City Group was number 5 from Denver Southeast. And Power Home Team Colorado Front Range from DTC was number 4 with 21 units. And our top 3 groups for May: Jamie Baker Orr team from Pueblo with 27 units, the Johnson team from downtown Colorado Springs with 34 units, and EHP from Denver Central with 58 units. Awesome job, everybody. Moving on to volume. The Luchik Group was in the 10th spot, the Strange team the 9th, the Dixon Group in the 8th spot, and the Thompson Group from Northern Colorado in spot number 7. Number 6 is the Thayer Group from Castle Rock, Parker. Number 5 was the High City Group from Denver Southeast. And number 4, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group from Denver Tech Center, and they broke the 10 million mark. Top 3 for volume: Empower Home Team, Colorado Front Range from DTC was number 3. The Johnson team, number 2. And Elite Home Partners with $37,073,095 in closed volume. Great job, groups. Finally, GCI groups. The Strange team was in the 10th spot. The Thompson Group, number 9. The Alchemy Group from Denver Highlands, number 8. The Dixon Group, number 7. Number 6 is the Thayer Group. Number 5 is Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group. High City Group took the 4th spot, and our top 3 for GCI groups were the Johnson team in number 3, Empower Home Team Colorado Front Range number 2, and Elite Home Partners with $858,452 in GCI. That's a great May. Congrats to all of our top performers in Colorado. We're going to do a couple market center items. Closed volume, market centers: number 5, Denver West; number 4, Denver Central; number 3, Partners; number 2, Downtown; and DTC led the way in closed volume. Units: Denver Central with 106, Pueblo with 123, top 3, Partners with 183, Downtown with 209, and DTC closed the most units at 215. Listings taken: Denver West 81, Downtown Denver Downtown 98, Pueblo with 100, Partners 117, and DTC 134. Turning it over to Cato. Cato?
Sounds good. Thanks, Russ. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see it, Cato.
All right. Happy June, everybody. It's beautiful weather out today. Let's see, CPI, we're doing better than we were. We're sitting right around 3.3% right now. We still are trying to get to a 2%. However, the country is trending in the right direction. We still have a problem with unemployment that we need unemployment to rise to help that out a bit. But we are seeing people spending less money, which also has to do with our savings rate these days. Our percent change for the CPI for the Denver, Aurora, Lakewood area, which is the Federal Reserve tracks on a regular basis, we're trending pretty much along with the country. Our inflation is just slightly higher, but overall, we're doing pretty well. We've come down a little faster than the rest of the country as well. What this means to you is that home pricing will probably stay high over the next couple of years relative to the rest of the country. That being said, I threw in a 4 measures chart here. Now they only have it done through March, but it just kind of gives you an idea. The one you really want to look at is the core PCE inflation. It's that light blue. That's the one that'll give you a better idea of exactly what's going on with this. What I want you to see, though, in this is basically that if you look at about November of 21 through, let's say, March of 23, we saw the biggest shift in our economy. So we've somewhat stabled out now. We're still coming down slightly, but it is taking a while longer than we expected. Again, the unemployment numbers are sitting around 3.9%. We really need those to be somewhere around 6%. Believe it or not, a certain amount of unemployment is good to keep our measurables at tolerable levels. So that is one of those things that we will see how that comes to bear. With it being an election year, incumbents do everything they can to keep as many people employed because that obviously keeps them in office. And the other side will always tell you how terrible it is. Savings rate stayed exactly the same between March and April. The reason this is important is this gives us a future casting of how much people are saving in that. Will they have enough to buy homes later? Now, this is less important for the people who are selling a property and buying a new one. It's much more important for the zennials who are moving into the market and the younger millennials who are trying to purchase right now. They're having a very hard time saving overall as a group. And that just means that we're going to have to get a little more creative with lending to figure out what we can do to help them out on that. That also ties into the Sitzer case and the NAR changes in that a lot of lenders are now trying to figure out how to finance in a buyer's agent commission if they need to, so that we don't slow the market down. Mortgage applications. So what you'll see is that we had a 15.6% rise the first week of June, which wiped out some of the not so great news we had a couple weeks beforehand. Again, we are still seeing that with rates being higher. People are a little more hesitant. People are starting to get pretty normalized to it now. But if rates go up, that would cause a problem. The Fed is still talking about one drop this year. I still don't see it happening. If they do, they're going to increase inflation dramatically, and that will cause a chain effect of reactions that we really don't want. But we have seen mortgage applications on the rise. We've seen open houses on the rise. We've seen a lot more listings hitting the market. Like I said, we've somewhat normalized in rates. Let's see, as of this morning, we were at 7.522% for 30-year, whereas was at 29 days ago when we did this last time, we were at, 28 days ago, 7.575. So we're hitting right around that 7.5 mark. We were pretty close to that in March. We don't see that number dropping anytime soon. But what I really want you to see is that when we're looking at the market, and I put a chart up here for you that shows that we are undersupplied for the amount of inventory on the market, both for rentals and for sale properties. Kelly has a copy of these slides. This would be a great one for you to use at listing presentations. to explain to your clients what's going on. Now, this only goes through Q1. The Q2 obviously hasn't been completed yet, but it kind of gives you an idea of where we're at after the last bubble. I also want you to remember this when we get to the end, we talk about how many of the pundits are talking about that we're in another bubble. If you look on the left side of the chart here, you will see that we were in a true bubble back in 08, 09, 10, all that. And then we came down and now we have an undersupply. And you're going to hear a lot of people in the news over the next 6 to 9 months talking about this new housing bubble. And we'll explain why when we get there, but we're not actually in a bubble right now. When we look at the housing affordability index, this is one of the things that they'll be talking about a lot, is we're above the 100% line, therefore housing's not affordable, all that. Well, as you're going to see back in 23, when we had an amazing year, it was also above there. I just showed a little bit of this chart here. It shows what's happening from a temporary basis, and it shows that people will get frustrated. But what you're going to notice when you start looking at this in more detail is the market heats up and it cools off, and it heats up and it cools off. And it's just another cycle to look at. The rates will affect us a lot moving forward. Our Case-Shiller, it's showing exactly what we expected. Again, Case-Shiller is 3 months behind. So these numbers are basically from February. It's showing the market cooling off. We're going to see it rise up again in the next about month and a half. You'll also see that the Feds did change their dot plot a little bit. And a dot plot, for those of you who haven't been on here before, just tells us where each of the Fed governors expect rates to go over the next 4 to 5 years. So they're looking at this and they're all making their vote. And the trend line you see there kind of gives you an idea. Now, they are talking about one more drop this year. The problem with that is if they drop rates, we'll get a flood of buyers into the market. And then what will happen is it will increase rates on a lot of things. With the issues in the bond market of BRICS and the Chinese selling off, the Russians selling off so much of our bonds, it really does not make sense. The only way they could drop rates this year would be if it were completely politically motivated. The problem was, I think it will really backfire on the current administration if they do that, because it will skyrocket inflation. All right. April to May, we actually saw, because of the competition, that pricing dropped a little bit on the median home price. Nothing significant, nothing to look at. But what I want you to look at here is that closed home sales was up an additional 5.72%. Our inventory is now up to 2.18 months. It's at 6 months that we're a balanced market. So we're still a very strong seller's market. We went up $3.02 billion in volume for 4.93%. Our median days on the market has gone up just slightly to 9 days. When that snapshot was taken, there were currently 9,159 listings in the Denver metro area. So overall, we are in an extremely healthy market. I laugh when people tell me there's nothing out there, because we're going gangbusters right now, and I'm betting most of you are as well. I'm going to leave you with this to take a look at when you pull the slides, but basically, really what I want you to see more than anything is that we're moving more toward the green again in these columns, just showing that the market is picking up and it is definitely on the rise. Listings. Looking at new listings, I always hear agents say nothing's happening, no one's listing, and I don't quite understand that, because we're seeing that we're in our typical cycle on the left side here. And then I pulled from RE Colorado, and I apologize for those of you who are in different markets, Colorado Springs, Durango, things like that, but I'm just using this as an example. Over this weekend, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there were 636 new listings. There were 560 that went to pending, and there were 382 that closed. So the question that I ask my agents on a regular basis is, hey, there were 636 new listings. How many did you take? It's look at what's out there. There is a huge amount going on, You just have to spend more time really out there prospecting right now. That's the key. You got to spend more time focused on dollar productive activities. For sale inventory growth, we're starting to see a trend in the country. We're starting to see the coasts get a little higher than we want them to. So right now, Colorado is looking at an inventory year-over-year increase of 39.2%. We'd actually like that to slow down a little bit to around 28%. That would be a little more, what's the word I want? A little longer versed in the market, meaning that it would just not cause our market to go up and down as quickly. Washington State, Arizona, Florida, they are shifting very hard right now. It is very likely that within the next 6 to 12 months, those will become buyers' markets. They're heading that way pretty quickly. We want you guys to watch Georgia, Vermont, Mississippi, South Carolina. Those are the ones that are going to help bring this and start a whole shift throughout the country if it happens. So just by watching what's going on in the country, and a lot of times it starts at the coast and it moves inward. So we'll see what happens there over the next couple of months. All right. So when you're watching the news, and please understand, and it's not a polite term, but I don't call them pundits, I call them pundidiots, because they tend to say whatever the talking points are right now rather than the truth. And here's what I want you to understand. You're going to see a lot of this where they talk about we had a housing bubble in 2008 through 10. We have another one here. The world's going to end. Well, what's funny about this is if you look at the source here, this is wolfstreet.com, and they make money selling fear and telling you to buy their books so that they can teach you how to make money in the stock market. Housing is terrible. It's in a bubble. We're all going to die, yada, yada, yada. Well, if I go back quickly to this chart, you'll see that, yes, we were in fact in a bubble in 2008. We are not in one now. So when we look at things like this, we have to understand that the market consistently goes up. We've added a lot of dollars to the market. We've added a huge amount of people through immigration. And so we actually have a net need for real estate. Will there be a correction? Absolutely. That's going to happen. That's just always part of a market cycle. And bubbles really aren't even as bad as they think, but people don't, they expect that the market's always going to go up. There will be a correction. And by the way, that is a great thing for you guys as realtors because it's going to help alleviate some of the pressures in the market. At the end of the day, though, our job is to get the deal done. Our job is to make sure that we're doing dollar productive activities and helping as many families as we can right now. So here's what we want you guys to start thinking about. Obviously, we're going to continue to say this month after month after month. Call your sphere, talk to your sphere, reach out to your sphere at least 3 times more than you expect you need to. Please make sure you're doing it in a TCPA compliant manner. Nobody wants to see you guys get hurt on that. Become experts in pricing properties. We are going to see the market shift down some as we have that correction. Sign up for the Rocky Mountain Summit. We have some amazing speakers coming there that will help you with that. Make sure you're going on at least 3 listing appointments a week. You're wanting to read and learn every single day. Gary talks about that on a regular basis. And if you are not investing in real estate, make sure that you're starting to put money aside to do that because this will be the biggest transfer of wealth in the next 50 years, probably over the next 5 to 10 years. Also work with family friends to help them out in that too, so that they become part of that as well. Russ, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Cato, for that market update. And thank you for producing that content each month for this regional rally. Back at Family Reunion, I got to hear Rory Vaden from Brand Builders talk at the CEO Summit about the importance of building a personal brand. And we attempted to get Elle Petrillo from Brand Builders on this call a couple months ago, but due to scheduling, we were unable to do it. So I'm excited that she's here today. She's a personal brand expert who works with people in both digital and offline sales. She is a founding member of Brand Builders Group, working with New York Times bestselling authors influential podcasters, renowned speakers, political leaders, reality stars, high-profile entrepreneurs. Elle, thank you so much for joining us here for the KW Colorado Regional Rally.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hey, y'all, I am sharing my screen. I'm going to trust that you can see it. But I just want to share with y'all, just kind of give you some idea of the background of why personal branding matters so much to me in today's world. Is 6 years ago, in a short 6 months, I decided to leave my husband, moved to Nashville, got fired unexpectedly from a company I was prepared to spend my entire career with, and was slapped with the 6-figure tax bill. So all that to say, I was completely lost. My identity as a wife no longer existed. My identity as a top performer and a partner in a company no longer existed. My identity as a successful person no longer existed. I lost everything in the matter of a short time period. And I didn't know who I was. And what I've come to realize is that there were all these identities that I had associated with for myself that were never mine. They're ones that others pushed onto me, ones that peer pressure and societal expectations had of me, and they were never real. And it's also why everything in my life felt so hard. It's why I felt like I always had to push in business and to compete, and it was never enough. And it was because others were setting expectations of me for me. And what I want to share with y'all is, like, if you do not know who you are in terms of how you want to be perceived, how you want to be shown up in the world, what you want people to think of when they think of you, if you don't know who you are, then you're going to allow others to define that for you. And that never works. It doesn't work when it comes to your happiness. It doesn't work when it comes to owning the amazing qualities you bring to the table. It doesn't work when you're putting yourself out there to bring on clients, because you're always going to have this nagging feeling that something is off. And so if my personal story doesn't connect, and that's totally okay, I just want to share some statistics as to why personal branding actually matters right now. We did the first ever nationwide study on trends in personal branding, really specifically focused on people in business, right? And what we found is the first thing is personal branding is the future. It's the future of your ability to grow your business organically. This is no longer about selfies, even though I still love a good one. I'm guilty of it. It's not about vanity. It's not about being an influencer. It's about being a conduit for change in your industry. It's about being influential by producing quality and providing value in exchange for attention. And it is critical in order to grow your business. The second finding that we had is that it is highly profitable. If you want to know one way to easily grow your influence in your industry, in your market, invest in building your brand and make it easy to share. People are willing to spend more money and spend more time and to work with someone if their personal brand, if the personal brand of what you have aligns with their personal values. And if they aren't clear on what those are for you, then you're really missing an opportunity there. And then the third reason is it is a trust accelerator. Y'all know that in your business, in your industry, you are literally helping people facilitate one of the biggest purchases or the biggest purchase of their entire life. That requires trust, right? And so when someone's deciding who to work with, they're going to go look for information on you. And if they cannot find information on you, they're most likely not going to work with you. And if they do, they're going to go, well, how much of this is going to help me trust you more and want to work with you more, right? So they're going to go, do I like them? And do I trust them? But ultimately, at the end of the day, what I want y'all to realize is, like, what Americans consider a personal brand is someone that's recognizable. This is not about followers. This is not about like influence. It's not about having your own podcast. It's literally, when I hear your name, do I know who you are? And do I know what you're about, right? So ultimately, another word for this is your reputation. How we define reputation. And here's the thing with that too, y'all, whether you like it or not, you have a brand. It goes back to, are you the one who's dictating what that is? Are you the one basically constructing how you want to be perceived and what you want to be known for? Are you allowing other people to do it for you? So when it comes to your reputation, this is basically your results times your reach. It does not matter, and I want to say this a million times, it does not matter how good you are if people don't know who you are, right? So it doesn't matter what your results are if people don't know them. I noticed before on the calendar events thing that y'all had was Peter Chabris. And I'm sure if I say Peter, besides the fact he came and spoke with y'all, chances are you probably know him. He has a strong reputation. He's actually a client of ours. I've started working with him recently, but ultimately it's going, how do I take what I've done and help more people, right? How do I do that? And so with this, a lot of agents that we work with come to us and go like, I just need more clients. I need more listings. I know if I have more listings, then people have to come to me because then I kind of own the market, right? I need more revenue. I need to build my team. I need all of these different things that they're going, this is my big problem. And I will share with y'all, that is never your biggest problem. Your biggest problem will always start and end with lack of reputation. Because it goes back to this, if people don't know who you are, they cannot do business with you. End of story, period, right? And then it goes, if they don't like you, if they don't trust you, if they don't feel like they know anything about you, if they don't feel like you align with them, right? They're not going to do business with you. But first of all, they have to have a way to access and know who you are. And I will promise this, like when it comes to reputation, if you suck offline, you're going to suck online. We can help you there. But if you are actually really great at what you do and you truly believe like I am damn good and everyone should work with me, that will translate online. Like we will make that happen, right? But at the end of the day, like Americans are more likely to buy from you, to recommend you and do business with you if you have an established brand. That's it. Like think about what's the first thing that you do if you're looking for, gosh, y'all, I just bought a new house. I had a tree fall, break my fence. Like first thing I do is I'm reaching out to friends like who work in this industry and go, who do you know that can fix my tree and fix my fence? Like take this out, right? I'm first asking for referrals and then I'm taking the referrals they give me and I'm looking online to go, who do I trust? Who do I like? Who looks like they have their crap together that they're not going to jerk me around, right? It works hand in hand. But again, the referral comes from when you do a great job at what you do and more people know who you are, which our business depends on. So how do we actually go about do this? Why is this so helpful, right? You build more trust, you build more clients, you get more referrals, and you have people that are loyal to you. People that are loyal to you. Like that is the name of the game here. Why doesn't this happen? What I want y'all to understand is why people never actually become more known. Why your brand never takes off where you're going, everyone knows who I am and they refer me and my friends think of me and everyone knows me for this. Why that happens is there's a thing called Sheehan's wall. On one side of the wall are people that are unknown. On the other side of the wall are people that are known, right? So why do you stay on the unknown side? Number one, you're talking about too many different topics, right? You're pitching too many different things. You're managing too many profiles. You're doing too many different business models. You're working too many jobs. You have too many ideas, right? Ultimately, if you think about this, I've seen like, we're not clear. We're all over the board. We're talking about everything and anything whenever we feel like it. We have no structure and no strategy to this, which means we're diluted. And when you have diluted focus, you will always get diluted results. Increased focus, increased results. Diluted focus is diluted results. So what we want to do is we want to take time and slow down and get really clear on what problem are we solving for people in one word. As an agent, right? What is the job or what is the problem you're solving? As an owner, as a broker, whatever it might be, team leader, whatever your role is, what is your problem that you are helping people solve? Because people will buy solutions to problems. So if you don't know what problem you solve, neither do they. So we want to be clear of what is the problem I help people with. Then we want to be really consistent on what am I doing? Like, what is the way that I'm solving this problem? What is the unique message that I have for this problem? And you're consistent in your messaging. From there, you do a lot of it. And so if you think about brands today, if I go to anyone outside of Keller Williams and I say, or even some people in Keller Williams, doesn't matter, and I say Peter Chabris, chances are they may or may not know him, depending on who you are, right? You may or may not know him. If I say Gary Keller, every person in Keller Williams knows Gary Keller. If I go to my group of friends who's not in real estate, right, and I say the name of Gary Keller, chances are they may or may not know who he is. Because what happens is over time, you're going to break through different walls. And really the goal for you, in my opinion, shouldn't be I have to break through every single wall there is. It's going, how do I break through the wall in my area, in my territory, in the location, in the place that I'm trying to build my business and become the go-to person, I think, how do I do that? And you do that by getting super dialed in, super intentional and hyper focused on one problem that you're solving and getting really clear of who you're solving that for. Then you start getting established and you start becoming more well-known. So how do you know that you're becoming more well-known? Well, on one side of the wall, if you see down here, it feels really hard. Like you have to push, you have to try. This is where like you're trying to find leads and you're trying to find business and you're trying to get people to trust you. And you're going for it and you're building, and it just feels hard. Then you get on this side of pull where you actually have so many opportunities that now it's more of what do I say no to, or how do I scale and how do I leverage my team and how do I do all these different things, that you start getting pulled in all these directions because you're well known, right? You start getting people in the community saying, hey, can you come speak here? Oh, can you go do this? And now it's more about what do you say no to than yes to. And so that's how you know you're on the track of actually building a brand, is you start feeling pulled versus feeling like I have to push everything. And that brings its own sets of challenges, but they're a lot more fun to solve. Why we don't, especially in this industry, is that we commoditize ourselves. Agents can be a commodity if they have not separated themselves of what makes you unique. And I'm not talking about what makes you unique as a person. I'm talking about what's unique about you and the way that you do business, right? Not what's so interesting about you. It's how you do business, how you solve my problem, how you help me as a consumer, as a client. And so part of this will be really getting clear of who are you serving? Who are you focused on building? And it's going, well, I can help everyone who wants to buy or sell a house, like I'm great for. That's just simply not true. Because if you try to serve you could, right? But can you do it really well? I don't know. If you're trying to solve everyone's problems, right, then you really help no one. If you try to speak to everyone, you really help no one. If you think about, if you've ever had a situation where you saw a speaker or you listened to a podcast or you read a book, and you go, oh my gosh, this person's talking to me. Like, how do they know this is exactly what I needed to hear? That is by design, y'all. That's not by accident. So the way we do that in our business today is we get clear on the demographics, but also the psychographics. Because if you know what the person you're targeting really cares about, if you know what they want and what they need, what they're searching for, what their passions and interests, what their beliefs are, what questions they have, what keeps them up at night, that allows you to dial in your presentations to speak specifically to this person, your content that you put out there, blogging, newsletter, interviewing, when you're having one-on-one conversations, when you're out networking. Like if you know this person so well, you're able to change your verbiage, your copy to really attract that person in. Because I'll tell you what, I just bought my second house. And I have a friend who's actually buying their third house right now. My friend who's buying their third house is looking for, or is trying to sell their house, because they're building one, but they have young kids and they have to sell this property for $5 million, whatever, to build this new one. And they have things that they're thinking about is like, we want to host X, Y, and Z things at our property. And we need to overcome these challenges, right? What they care about, what they want, what they need, what they're searching for, what their interests and what keeps them up at night is very different from me, who's single with no kids and no animal. Like I don't have a dog or anything like that. And I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about school districts. And I don't think I need to be like, that is so different. So even though you could probably serve both of us, you're probably better positioned to serve one person who knows the luxury market a little bit better than someone who doesn't need the luxury market, right? It's a very different world. And so it's going, how can you become known in the world that you can own, that you can be best in and speak to and serve people as deep as possible in? And when you do that, that allows you to break through the wall a lot faster, right? Because then I go, you're the person that I want every single one of my friends to work with because you were so damn good for me at right? But you're not going to be the person I refer to that person, because that is a whole different other world that you have, like you could do, but you're not going to be best at, because what you're best at is what you did for me. And I know that. And so I just want to encourage y'all to get clear of who do you love working with the most? What lights you up the most? What are you excited about? But also who are you best positioned to serve? because it is fun to do those bigger things sometimes and get the bigger commissions, whatever it might be. But that might be a lot harder because you're constantly pushing because you're not well known there. You haven't established yourself. And it's not saying you can never make that transition and that pivot. It's just going, where are you going to build the most momentum today? And do that and go all in on that and break through the wall. So that way you can have these other opportunities come your way. So these are the questions I would encourage y'all to answer about your person specifically. Now, at the end of the day, we know people don't do business because of the logo on the door, right? It's not companies or knowledge, expertise, product, services. They do business with people, And so the most amazing thing when you build a brand is you want to focus on the offline of the relationship building, but also leverage the online world because that helps you build reach faster. And that's what content marketing allows you to do, is that you can actually build relationships with people that don't know you or that you don't know, but they feel like they know you. And so what it allows you to actually do is when you have to build trust with someone, this compresses the time that it takes to build trust with that person by leveraging the online. So how do we do this, right? The first thing is understand you can automate this. Like, this is all systematized. This is not something that you have to put a ton of time and energy into. You just got to set up the systems, but you start with building trust. So how do you build trust online? They need to see you. They need to know you. They need to learn from you, which means they need to be consistent. You might go, well, what do I do? This is a really simple thing. I don't have a slide for it. In your feed is what you do, and your stories are who you are. Show the behind the scenes, show your personality, but make your feed about what you do and provide the value and the specific industry knowledge that they need. But you need to be consistent. You need to share who you are authentically. Again, if you're awesome, you're going to show up awesome. If you're not so awesome, so sorry, I can't help you. But then they need to learn from you. You need to provide real content that they can take away from. Here's a tip. Americans are often looking at social before they go to bed and when they wake up. The other thing is when they're using the bathroom. On average, Americans go to the bathroom 7 times a day, which means now you have, I actually made that up, I don't know, but now you have 9 times of building trust with someone throughout a day without ever picking up your phone, without going to an event, without even leaving the comfort of your office. You can build trust with someone nonstop all day, every day. So what we want to do is we want to showcase how we can help someone, what we know, our industry knowledge, our expertise, and how that applies to where they are, which is why knowing who you serve is going to help you dial in your content so you don't get distracted and you're not all over the place. What that looks like is we want to have content strategy that's focused on encouragement, education, and entertainment. You do not have to be the funny one. There's plenty of people online that are funny. There are plenty of memes that are online that are funny. There are GIFs, right? You do not have to be entertaining in this big personality. I am not. I utilize what's already out there and I reshare it, things that I think are funny. And I would encourage you to do the same unless you're funny, and then create your own entertainment content. But you want a mix of things that are encouraging, because at the end of the day, people need encouragement, including you, right? This market is a huge opportunity. Doesn't mean it's easy, right? There's a lot of opportunity. Doesn't mean it's always easy. So people need to be encouraged when they're buying. They need to be encouraged when they're selling. You need that encouragement too, right? To feed your mind with the positivity versus things that tend to get us down every day. Then the entertainment stuff, I already spoke to that. And then the education. Like, what are the things, when you think of, what are the most common questions that your audience has for you? What are the things that they need answered, that they want to learn, that they can only learn from you? And so what we would encourage is make a list of what are those 52 questions. And we say 52 because there's 52 weeks in the year. So you put one question per week and you answer it. You might go, okay, well, that sounds really simple. How do I answer it? Here's what we do. One video, 5 to 7 minutes long. You answer one problem, you teach a solution, and then you give a call to action. So to break that down, you share a problem, right? So it might be how, one of the questions I had is, how do I make a decision between a property that I know is, both of them are great investments, but one is slightly better in the numbers than the other? How do I make this decision? Do I make it based on what property I love more, or do I make it based on what the better financial deal is, right? And that is a lot to answer, but that was one of the questions I had. And so you could give up the problem and share this thing of like, a lot of people are debating between properties and trying to figure out, how do I make a decision that's financially smart, but one that I'm really excited about? And you just talk about all the talk that is going on in their head and all the background information and all the concerns and fears that they have. And you just bring out this problem and spend about 2 to 3 minutes on how this problem impacts their process in the real estate buying and or selling, depending on what you're speaking to. But you want to just talk about the issue that people commonly have, or your person commonly has in this process. Then you provide a solution. What I mean by that is you teach the what and not the how. You go, here are 5 things I could consider. Here are 3 things I would consider. Or these are the questions you need to ask yourself. You don't give me all the details. You give me the brief overview. So that way I know that you understand what I'm looking for. If I believe that you understand my problem and can highlight a tip that or share something that I did not think about or I didn't even know about, then I will trust that you know more than I do. And I will trust that you know what you're talking about, that I would want to reach out to you. So you have to share and understand that, like, share that you understand the problem. You understand how this is coming up. You literally know the thoughts in my head and the experiences I'm having, and you know how to fix it. You know how to guide me to it. You know how to help me through that, right? So you provide the solution. Then there's typically a corresponding problem that remains, right? So it could be, here's a really high level example, like very high level, right? I need to make more money. This will help you make more money. Now you have more money. So now you need help with tax planning, right? That's very high level. So with that, you share the next problem that results with it, and then you give a call to action. Your call to action is opening the door to invite people in relationship with you to learn and take the next step. It could be like, leave a comment, tag a friend, share with your network, subscribe, follow, opt in, attend more train, like learn a little bit more, request a call, set up an appointment, whatever it might be. There's a lot more calls to actions you can do, but you get them to engage in the next call to action. And you do that over time, right? It's not that the agent I use is the only agent I know in Nashville. In fact, I have 3 friends who I'm close with who are all realtors. So it was a little awkward choosing for me. And then I had other friends who were like, oh, you need to talk to my agent. Oh, you need to talk to my agent. And there's all these people to choose from, right? I chose the person I chose, number 1, because they nurtured the relationship. But number 2 is I knew they were an expert in what I was looking in because they have demonstrated it over and over and over again. And so with that, what I always encourage y'all is, you might not love the idea of personal branding. You might think in your head that is very much self-centered. It's very, I don't want to be famous. And I'm always like, good, you're not going to be anyways. Don't worry about that. A lot of people think that personal branding is very much about them. And if you think personal branding is about you, or if someone approaches it where it's about me, you're doing it wrong. It's about the person you're serving. It's about the person, the target audience that you want to attract and you want to work with, right? Your personal brand should be, how can I serve people deeper by what I do best, right? And so I always encourage, if you're in business, especially like an entrepreneur or entrepreneur where you guys, you eat what you kill, right? It's not like anyone's just giving you money. It's like you literally are building your business. Even if you don't like the idea of it, what I say to my nephew, you still have to do it. He didn't love this costume, still had to wear it. We thought it was cute, right? If you do not focus on building up your brand and putting time and intention and care and thought into this, you will be left behind in the trajectory of how business is going. This is the future of building your business. And so I would also encourage you, you don't have to do it alone. I know I went through a lot. I went through it quick. There's a ton more. If you actually want to learn more about this, I would encourage you to have a call with one of our strategists. This is a free call. It's about an hour. We're just diving into, what do you have going on? What are your goals? What are your questions, challenges? Learn a little bit more about our process. And if it's a fit, like it's been, we've worked with several Keller Williams agents since family reunion. If it's a fit, great. If not, that's cool too. At least you know what's out there. And when you're ready, you're ready. But what I do want to encourage you, go ahead and scan that. I'll give you 1 second to do so. And then I'm going to leave you with a couple things. give you a minute for that. And then I can also do some Q&A. But what I do want to encourage you is that we can't differentiate ourselves based on what we do, right? There's so many people out there that do what we do and go, well, no one does it like I do. That's because we want to differentiate based on who we are. So don't focus trying to reinvent the wheel of what I do is so different. It's not that. It's who you are that makes it different. It's your experiences, your beliefs, your style, your personality, your values, right? That's what makes it different. And so just show up as who you are, and you're going to attract more people into what you do. And then the last thing is, building a business is never going to be as nearly as important as building your reputation. And I know this because when we left or got fired from our former company, we turned around and started Brand Builders Group in 2 months. And we built that to a 7-figure business within a year, from scratch, from nothing, no website, no social media, no team, nothing. And we did that because what we did have is a reputation. We had people who knew us. We had people who trusted us. We had people who value us, who were willing to help us. And so I'm even more convicted today. It does not matter what you do. It's focus on building your reputation, focus on becoming more well-known in what you do, and you will always be in a position better than where you are today. And so I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I appreciate y'all's time today. I know it's a busy day. If you want to stay in touch with me, or if you want to reach out to me, this is how you do it. So I'll leave that up for 2 seconds, and then I'll turn it back over to y'all.
Who's got questions? You can put them in the chat, or just take yourself off mute.
I can't see the chat. Okay, here we go.
Quiet group today, Elle.
That means
okay, I've
just
got
blew
a
everyone's
question.
mind, or no, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
Travis,
I've
go
got
ahead.
one that I run into now and again, in that I have people in my database that just don't traffic in social media. And I absolutely appreciate social media and the ease of creating a brand in social media. But aside from, I don't know, tagging them specifically, even if they have a profile, how do you get to people in your sphere in social media that don't actively use social media?
Yeah. Depends on can you give me a little bit more about their demographics?
Well, let's say they're old. Let's say they're Gen Xers.
Okay, that would be like my mom.
Ow!
So I would say Facebook. They're on Facebook. It's knowing where they are. They may not post, right? A lot of people don't post. That doesn't mean they're not on it. They're not not watching. And so I would say chances are they probably are on it. They're not necessarily engaging on it, but they're on it. The other thing though, too, it's referrals. It's their kids. Their kids are on it. And so it's like a lot of times their kids are influential in who they know, with things like that. And it's like, oh, you should check this person out. They're the ones bringing the value and the insight and the knowledge to them as well. So it just kind of depends on that. And again, it goes to offline and online. They might not run into you online. They might not find you online. They might find you through a friend, through networking, right? Through something you do in the community. But what they will do is go online and Google you. And so when you're online and you have an established history of providing value and content, and they can see you and they go, oh my gosh, it's like he's everywhere. So before social media was a big thing, in a past life, every 4 months I moved to a new city and had to start my business over, and I was in sales, right? And we did these sales training events. I would hit up every single networking event in a short amount of time, because what I wanted people to do is go, oh my gosh, everyone knows you, you're everywhere. Because it was the perception that I was. Not everyone knew me. I wasn't everywhere, but it was strategic. So it's kind of the same thing online. If you can be really strategic and going, I'm going to make sure when someone looks for me somewhere, they find me there, because that builds trust. The more they see you, they feel like the more credibility there is to that. Does that make sense?
Fantastic answer.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that question, Travis. Thank you, Elle, for being here today. If
Thanks,
you want
y'all.
more information about this, she had the slide up there. Reach out to me. I'm happy to tell you about my experience with brand builders. Our next regional rally is on July 15, right back here. See you all soon. Take care.